Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Vampire YGO here again, bringing you a Drytron deck profile this time. I've always really loved the ritual summoning mechanic of the game and felt that it is one of the mechanics that is shown the least love by Konami when it comes to support and consistency of support. I mean, it's like, when's the last time was there a good ritual deck besides, obviously Necros in 2015? And before then, when was there another really good ritual deck that you can consider a meta deck? Demise was not really a meta contender, and maybe like a super far back in the day if you want to go to the King of Higher Planes ritual that was out back then. But other than that, again, I feel like they should not touch Ben 10, and if they do, I think they should wait a ban list or two, because it is not a problem, and it's only used in ritual summoning decks, and so far just this one deck. So I mean, Drytrons also just came out in December. It's been 2 months since they've been released. I'm really hoping that Konami doesn't just shoot them down the drain by doing something crazy like banning Ben 10. If they do, hopefully it's a limit to at least 2 or semi-limit. But other than that, let's get right into the profile and I'll break it down. It's pretty much the basic build that you've pretty much seen for most. It's a Vanity's Herald profile, and obviously based on Ends With You with Ultimateness and the Ruler, and then possibly a few other different scenarios as well. So you want 3 of pretty much the best one in there. This is the Alpha. They all kind of have the Alpha, Beta, Zeta, and Delta, different names, Gamma. So with this one, all 3 of them have, or all of them have 3 effects. They have their cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by the effect of the Drytron monster, and they have their actual effect from when they're successfully special summoned, and then they have the effect of that you cannot special summon monsters except monsters that cannot be normal summoned or set the turn that you activate this card. So for all of them, they each have a different effect besides those the top and bottom 2 there. So this one, when it's special summoned, it adds you a ritual monster from your deck. So you activated the effect, you can either target another ritual monster in your hand or on the field, or another Drytron monster on your hand, or in the field or in your hand, and then special summon this. So the good thing is they can also be special summoned from the grave. So it's pretty ridiculous the amount of times. Sometimes you can special summon them up to 2 or 3 times, depending on what you're doing there. But this one is the one that gets you your ritual monster when it is summoned. And you have 3 Zeta. If you couldn't guess already, it's pretty much the opposite. It does the same thing, except searches your ritual spells. The Medionis Drytron is the only one that they have released right now. I hope they add another ritual to this deck. That would be awesome, just so we don't have just the one. Just kind of like how Necros has 4 different ritual spells, possibly even 5. I can't remember. I think it's just 4. But yeah, Zeta Ritual Searcher, extremely important. You want to see it as a 3 of. You kind of want to have around anywhere from 8 to 10 Drytron monsters, in my opinion. I'm at 9, I think, in this, but I really like the 9 or 10 range versus just the 8. I felt like the consistency dropped just a little bit when I was playing with it, trying to play with it at 8. And then, yeah, you have 2 Delta. This is your draw. So when this one's special summon, you can reveal a ritual monster or ritual spell in your hand and then draw a card. And then you have Gamma, which sometimes a lot of people have this vice versa, where you have 2 Gamma, 1 Delta. And there is also a Beta as well, but currently with the list that's going on, it's just not necessary unless you're trying to get an extra name in there. It does add 1 extra summon that you can do by getting it, but you have to get max searchability, and at that point you're kind of just overextending. So Gamma, this one is awesome as well. When this one's effect is special summon, you special summon another Drytron monster from your graveyard. So 2 Delta, 1 Gamma. The artwork on Gamma is awesome. I think it's my favorite of the level 1s. They're all level 1. And then the new Exceed monster that's going to be coming out for them in, I don't remember the name of the set. It's the next core set coming out. I think Lightning Overdrive is going to have the Exceed monster, which is the new boost for the deck. You have the 3 ofs for the Fairies. You have Vanity's Ruler. Obviously, it just shuts down your opponent's special summoning capabilities. Extremely easy to make. I was always making this in my Necros profiles. If you go even look to from like a year to 2 years ago, this is definitely the way you wanted to run Necros back in the day as well, because you can easily make this or the Christia. 1 Eva and 1 Cyber Pettit. So you can Some people boost this to 2 or 3 as well. It's a really good card and it can be a good normal summon. I actually don't run Manju in the deck. I've just felt like I really want to go for the ruler, even though Manju is good for follow-up. I just felt, you know, again, you want to go first. You want to just bust out the pretty much generic combo for the deck, and that's pretty much where you want to go every time while you have that capability before hopefully something like this gets banned or something. So this one I can see getting hit. I hope they don't. Again, it's not being used in any other decks besides this, even though it is not that hard to make. And then Eva, this is your card you want to kind of end with in your hand. You pitch it to the graveyard, and then you get to banish 2 other fairies and then search 2 level 2 or lower fairies to your hand. So you'll usually get the Petit plus the other 2, which would be the Heralds. So them. A lot of people play 3. This is where I get kind of like weird with it. I did it to kind of just keep the deck at 40 by adding the boss ritual monsters. But I really do like the 2 because I don't like seeing it in the opening hand, and I felt like I just kept seeing it way too often. Going first, again, is your main goal. Seeing one of these in your hand, this is a card you want to kind of end with from searching from Eva or something like that. You don't really want to see this as one of your starting cards. So I kind of hit it to 2 because, again, it's what you want to search for. 2 still not bad, just in case you have multiple options or multiple times of using it. And then it has the hand trap effect, obviously, as well, for discarding it and another fairy to negate a monster effect. Then you have your One of Dawn Knight. This is for your Union Carrier purposes. Link it with the Union Carrier, and then you use the Meteor's Drytron to special summon the Herald of Ultimateness. Then this goes to grave, and then you can send usually the Drytron Gamma, or whatever name that you currently don't have in there if you already have. But usually you're going to want to send the Gamma to get to play. But if he's already in there, then you can do whichever name you don't have in there. Or you can even do Natasha if you already have everything you kind of need in there. And then I have the 2. I know Jesse Cotton was always running this one, and I'm not sure if he still is. I have not seen his profile from the last 2 weeks. And I know a few people more have been actually playing the Quadrigantids, because this is such, I would say, a meta that is running a lot more spells and traps. There's a great amount of mid-range and a huge amount of control going on now. It's leaning more towards that side than it is leaning towards combo right now. And I mean, this card is amazing. It's awesome because during your opponent's turn, you can activate it. You can target 2 of their cards on their field, banish 2 of your Drytron monsters, and then you get to send those cards to the graveyard. Not destroy, not like that, just send them to the grave. And then it also has, you know, both of them have a 4K attack, which is awesome. And then this one also has the capability to attack all of your opponent's special summon monsters each once per that turn. And then it also cannot be targeted by your opponent's or affected by your opponent's card effect, monster effect, sorry. And this one is, I feel like I've been testing it a lot lately. I was really like kind of hesitant on it, and it has done really, really well against Eldritch, Zodiac variants and a bunch of things, because this one is like this one, but kind of opposite. It's not unaffected by spells and trap cards. And then also has a built-in Harpy's Feather Duster effect. When it's summoned, instead of being able to attack all the monsters, this one just wipes your opponent's spell and trap zone. So it's done wonders for a good amount of stuff that I've been testing it. I've only been testing it for about the last 4 or 5 days, but I do play the deck probably around anywhere from 15 to 20 times a day, if not more. And I have been testing it with some locals and remote duels with it. So, sorry, some car alarms going outside there. But yeah, I like them at 2. They're extremely easy to make, and there are other names that you can pitch for the Drytron effects with these here as well. So you can always send them to the grave, and then you always can special summon them from the grave, because Meteor's Drytron allows you to special summon from the grave. So you don't really care if you have to send them to the grave either. That's why I like them. But you can definitely opt to taking those out. I know a lot of people would probably grill me for having those in there, but I mean, try it first before you knock it. Other than that, it's, you know, I really like it for going, if you have to go second. That's one of the main reasons I really like the 2 big ritual monsters in there. Because going second with the one that can't be targeted by spell or traps, and then again the other one that's versus monsters, and they're extremely easy to make. You have the 1 ultimateness. If you're playing the Megalith build, which I want to do a profile for the Megalith build as well. This is all just like pre-BANLIST profile from what I've been playing. I've really only been playing this, but I've been watching a lot of people play the Megalith, and it looks awesome. I still can't really tell which one you would consider the better version. I know a lot of people just like to go to the generic Vanity's Ruler Ultimate's combo, but this one's not a once per turn, and you just keep pitching light fairies from your hand, and you can negate things constantly. You just constantly negate. So you pitch the Eva, add 2 more, negate, and you have the Vanity's Ruler on board. They can't special summon. you just keep saying no, 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 and then Eva says no. 3 Ben 10 doesn't even really need an explanation. This one is your Fairy Searcher. When it's tributed, so even if you have this on the field and you tribute it for your Vanity's Ruler, which you can end with having 2 of these on the field, tribute both of them for Vanity's Ruler, and then you get the effect again. This card can be used around 5 to 6 times in a turn. Usually you're going to use it around 2 to 4, but it can be definitely abused, and I see that's why people do want it hit. But again, the deck isn't really like crazy. It hasn't gone #1, even though it tops constantly. So it's not like it's, you know, as bad as VFD, who's been around for like a year and a half, essentially. This deck barely came out in December. I don't think they should touch it. And again, this is like the only card that helps pretty much any ritual deck out there that can use the whole like Valkyrie / Vanity's Ruler build. And then the 1 Natasha for the last of the ritual monsters. This thing is also not a once per turn. It is ridiculous. You can special summon from the grave by banishing another Cyber Angel monster. And then when you do, you can also target 1 monster your opponent controls and then take control of that. And then you also have the capability of targeting 1 of your monsters, and then you can gain life points equal to half that monster's attack. So you target 1 of the 4,000 boys, you just gain 2k. It's really, really good in time. Even though I wish Konami would do something about time rules, and I'm not the biggest fan. I wish they would make it either quite a bit longer or take them away in general. But yeah, I do think this card is awesome. This is also a card I can see people calling to get hit to maybe either 1 or banned. But again, I hope they don't do any of that yet. The deck is still not even reached full power and been out for that long. And then for the spell cards, we have 1 Meteonish Drytron. Dopest looking collector's rare I think that you can get. Awesome. Some people run it at 2, some people 1. I tried both. I liked 2 for a while, but I did feel like that it was just starting to get a little more unnecessary because people were really, you know, thinking Drytron was the, you know, the next big thing. Then it kind of lost some gas for a little while with representation in tournaments. So I think people started kind of, you know, going away from that and still siding for other decks. So people, you weren't seeing DD Crow as much murking this thing. But yeah, it's definitely a good card, and you can also use it multiple times in a turn. Like if you have your pre-prep, you can use it 3 times. You can use it, use its effect to get it back, use it again, use pre-prep, get it back, use it again. It's not just a once per turn when it comes to the effect of the ritual summoning, but it is once per turn for using its grave effect, which you target 1 of your Drytron monsters, lowers the attack by 1,000, and then you can add this to your hand. But 1 of those is awesome, and you get Quadrigantids on there. Draconids, sorry. And then this is also a card that you can consider cutting to 2 just because you sometimes see a little too much consistency, which is kind of, I know, not often that you say that. I feel like one of the only decks that ever really was like that, this one kind of reminds me of with its searchability, is Infernobles, just with how much search power they actually have in the deck. You could even run things like Terraforming in here, but the reason why you don't is because you'd rather, you know, not get hit with the Droll and get your Nova, and then the Nova is the special summon. So this one allows you to, it's your field card, allows you to add the Drytron Nova to your hand, or the ritual spell if you already have a Nova. And then on top of that, it allows you to lower your monster's levels by 1, depending on, you know, if you have a Drytron monster on the board when they're summoned, and it also protects your ritual summons from being negated. So it's actually a really good card. But again, you could, this one is one that you can, I would say, go to 2 versus Preparation or Nova, in my opinion. You have the 3 Nova. This one is your E-Telly. Special summon 1 Drytron monster from your deck, but destroy during the end phase. And you can only activate 1 of them once per turn, and then you have the regular normal summon crap that the other ones have. But it's an awesome card. Again, just adds to the consistency. This is kind of the one you really want to see in the beginning. If you kind of know they don't have any hand traps, or if you've already baited them or something. Then the 3 Cyber Emergency, just to add the Drytron because they are light machines. So you just add, obviously, you know, self-explanatory, just add the Drytrons to hand. 3 Preparation of Right, just pretty much, again, one of the best ritual cards that you can have. Searches you any of your Ben 10 or your Natasha. If you're running the Megalist, it searches you the Herald of Perfection, which is really good as well. But yeah, I mean, it's a really cool card. It's level 7 or lower ritual, and then the good thing is it has the secondary effect to add you back your ritual card from your graveyard, so you can again use it again. And then like things like Necros and stuff, you can, you know, adding the rituals is insane. And then we have the One Foolish Barrel to send either like the Dawn Knight, or you can send, again, any of the Drytron monsters or Natasha that you don't have. 2 talents. If I had 3, I would be playing 3. This card is insane. Won so many games alone just by having this card. This card can turn the tides in, you know, 5 seconds just when you play it, or when you think you've, you know, kind of got sacked in your first turn. It's definitely a game changer. Also helps against Dragoon and whatnot, and a bunch of other crazy scenarios, and obviously, you know, the effects are ridiculous. The one called by, so it's kind of like your called by package here. Kind of just want to stop the hand traps. Like I said, if I had 3 tactics, I would be playing 3, probably take out like a Fafnir. But the 2 tactics is awesome. I do see them plenty of times still. The one called by the grave, and then the instant fusion to get the Millennium Eyes out to basically do the same thing the call by the grave does, except equip it. So yeah, just your defense, because again, you really, really want to go first. And then for the extra deck, which I can also do a combo video for that as well, because I'm still expecting to do some combo videos for the previous videos that I've done, like the Tri-Brigade and the hero deck profile. So we got kind of like your basic one. You got the Link Karibo, you got the Anima, and then you got the Union Carrier. These 2 are just because they're easy link summons for the level 1 monsters. You're going to use both of these to make the Union Carrier, attach the Dawn Knight, use the Medionis Drytron ritual spell, targeting the Union Carrier, sack it off, and the Dawn Knight, special summon the Herald of Ultimateness, and then after that, you use the Dawn Knight effect to add or send to grave, and then you just keep going. You have your, essentially, package that you got going with the IP. I mean, again, self-explanatory, just always been a really ridiculous combo with this card. I just got the Prismatic. It looks freaking awesome, in my opinion, compared to the Ultra Rare. The alternate art looks pretty sick, too, with the motorcycle and kind of like the, you know, altered carbon-like world out there. But yeah, obviously, one of each. And then one other thing that I've been testing with Masquerena is, let's see where you at. I've been testing the Underworld Goddess. Now, I know a lot of people hyped up this card, and then it got pretty much just like washed out by the rest of the stuff in the Blazing Vortex, and kind of just, I would say, like swept under the rug a little bit. People kind of counting it out at this point. This deck and any combo deck in general can make this extremely easy, and in my opinion, any deck that has Masquerena involved with it should be playing this card. It is super easy to make, and again, you just use your opponent's, one of your opponent's monsters, so it makes it a lot easier to get out. So basically what this one does is, obviously it's a Link 5s. You can use one of your opponent's monsters that they control as to help towards the Link summon. So you can, if they target one of their Links or something like that, or again, if you have multiple monsters on board, like leftover Drytrons or something like that. And then basically, if this card is Link Summon, you negate all face-up monsters effects of your opponent that they currently control. This card cannot be targeted by activated effects unless it is not affected by opponent's activated effects unless they target it. And then also, when your opponent activates once per turn, when your opponent, it's not a hard special summon. Whenever your opponent special summons a monster from the graveyard, you can negate it basically, whether it's a spell, trap, or monster effect that does it. And then she's got a 3k attack, but it's a lot easier to make than you would think. And then we got the Link 4s, Pelosa. Borrelsword just kind of made a little comeback in this deck. It's just really good in it. And then again, pretty much, arguably the best Link monster in the game right now, the Access Code Talker. All of them really easy to make again. Kind of just explain themselves. Sometimes it just kind of depends on the board. These 2 are more for going second or like grind, like, follow-up game plays if they kind of get past your board. This one's going to be for, you can also go this route instead of Apollosa when you end on the Vanity's Ruler and the Herald. Just kind of extra negates. And then you have the 1 Millennium Eyes Restrict. And this is what happens when a dog gets a hold of your cards. Ooh, not the best. 3D. It's like embossed now. And then you have the last of your extra deck. And you can also use things like the Herald of Mirage Lights. I don't have that in here, but that's what I was using and what I took out for the Underworld Goddess. But yeah, you have the Zeus package. Just get her. Obviously, extremely easy to make. All your monsters are level 1. You can even end on, if you're going second or depending on what you're doing. Again, and all the Zeus. But yeah, make this, add this there, and then you have 4 materials, so you can use the effect twice. And then again, I can see this card actually going to 1, even though this is a brand new card. I can see them eliminating this because a good amount of decks have been making it too. But other than that, this is the profile. If you guys have any questions or anything, please let me know. Please leave a like, comment, dislike. Subscribe if you're interested in seeing more deck profiles. I usually do a lot more rogue or random decks versus the meta, but I've been doing a lot more meta lately in general just because I've really liked a lot of the combo decks that have been out lately. So yeah, if you could just please, again, let me know what y'all think and have a good night. Appreciate it.